From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, November 4th. Even warmer air is set to come into the state in the work week. We're going to have a mix of sun, some clouds with some higher wind gusts also coming with those warmer temps. Near record highs are going to be in the forecast for today. The record in Indy is 78 degrees. That was set in 2003. Today's highs are going to climb into the mid-70s, so we'll be teetering that line. Wind gusts expected to be up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. As for your Saturday, even stronger winds with some rain chances, and it's going to be cooler. Scattered showers are going to play a role for a lot of the daytime hours. Temperatures will struggle to get into the 60s. And this morning, we do have breaking news in the Delphi murder case. The man charged in Abby Williams and Libby German's killings is no longer in the White County Jail. Local authorities confirmed the move early this morning. They're not saying yet exactly where Richard Allen is now, but he is set to go to state prison. Carroll County Circuit Court Judge Benjamin Diener approved the move yesterday in an order critical of the attention and coverage of the case. In Diener's words, the public's bloodlust for information before it exists is extremely dangerous. He goes on to write, all public servants administering this action do not feel safe and are not protected. Diener is no longer the judge in the case. Hours after approving Allen's move, Diener recused himself. He's not offering a reason publicly, and the state Supreme Court says by rule, he doesn't have to. The court appointed Francis Gull to be the new judge in the case. Gull has served as a judge in the Allen County Superior Court since 1997 and was a finalist for a spot on the state Supreme Court in 2012. She's also one of only 5 judges in the state who has led a case with cameras in the courtroom. And State Police Superintendent Doug Carter tells ITmate that the probable cause in the Delphi case will answer a lot of questions once it's unsealed. Carter has urged crime enthusiasts and others interested in the case not to subjectively interpret while officers continue to gather information. Carter sat down with ITmate's Richard Essex yesterday. He said the Indiana Code Richard Allen is charged under means he committed other crimes at the same time. Those could include rape, child molesting, and human trafficking. Allen was arrested on October 28th. However, the document showing why the judge granted approval for his arrest hasn't been made public yet. A hearing regarding the release of that probable cause affidavit is set for November 22nd. Prosecutors say they want to drop some of the child porn charges against Kagan Klein. As we have reported extensively, police say Klein collected sexual videos and images of underage girls using the Anthony Shots social media account. Police say one of the girls he communicated with was Libby German, but he's not been charged in the girls' deaths. Prosecutors say there is not enough evidence to prove 5 of the counts beyond a reasonable doubt, but they have not explained why. Klein does still face 25 counts related to child pornography. His trial is set for January 18th. In other news, the Indiana doctor who performed an abortion on a 10-year-old from Ohio is suing Attorney General Todd Rokita. Lawyers for Dr. Caitlin Bernard claim Rokita ignored Indiana law and used bogus consumer complaints to issue subpoenas for confidential and sensitive medical records. It also says Rokita made false and misleading statements about the case, even after public records showed Bernard followed all reporting laws. Rokita is responding to the lawsuit. In a statement to News 8, his office says, by statutory obligation, we investigate thousands of potential licensing, privacy, and other violations a year. A majority of the complaints we receive are, in fact, from non-patients. Any investigations that arise as a result of potential violations are handled in a uniform manner and narrowly focused. We will discuss this particular matter further through the judicial filings we make. In Fort Wayne, a man is dead after being shot by police. You may remember this from the podcast yesterday. According to police, the shooting happened in a neighborhood at about 1 p.m. Wednesday. Fort Wayne police initially said 18-year-old Wyatt Becker suffered life-threatening injuries. Officers shared an update yesterday saying he died. Police haven't said what led to the shooting or if Becker had a gun. The department says Officer Andrew Fry fired the fatal shot. Police tell us he's been with the department since 2014. The department has not said if Fry's status has changed due to the deadly shooting. IMPD's new recruiting billboards are up as far as 300 miles away. Signs in Detroit offer the promise of a $72,000 starting salary in Indianapolis. That's more than $20,000 better than rookie officer pay in Detroit, even if leaders there approve an increase. IMPD also has billboards in Cincinnati, Louisville, and St. Louis. A grand jury has indicted a former township trustee in Tippecanoe County. Talitha Coles faces more than 40 charges, including corrupt business influence, perjury, theft, and fraud. Prosecutors say she used government tax exemption cards to avoid paying sales tax on items for herself. She's also accused of using township funds for personal use and taking rebates that belong to the township. Cole served as the Fairfield Township trustee from 2019 until her resignation last month. No word yet on her next court date. Pfizer is testing a combined COVID-19 and flu vaccine. According to the company, the trial's first participant received a dose yesterday. Pfizer says the shot contains the updated bivalent COVID booster and its flu vaccine. Other vaccine makers are also studying combination shots, including Novavax and Moderna. Moderna is working to develop a combination shot that also targets RSV. And a painful pandemic problem. The CDC says deaths from alcohol rose sharply during the first year of the pandemic. The agency says 52,000 people died in 2020, a 26% jump from the year before. That equates to 13 alcohol deaths per 100,000 people. That's the highest rate recorded in the last 40 years. And the CDC is softening its guidelines for prescribing opioids. It's the first major rewrite since 2016. The agency says the goal is to offer pain care that is safer and more compassionate. The guidelines no longer suggest a 3-day limit for opioid treatments in cases of acute pain. The guidance also drops a recommendation about maximum dosages. It also urges doctors to not abruptly halt treatment in patients receiving high doses of opioids, unless there's a sign of life-threatening danger. The previous guidelines were crafted to reduce the opioid epidemic, but critics say they took away too many options. Sources with CNN say the January 6th House Select Committee has conducted more interviews with the U.S. Secret Service. They say lawmakers heard from the former head of the security detail for former Vice President Mike Pence yesterday. The committee is hoping to learn more about what the Secret Service knew about the threats to Pence ahead of the Capitol attack. It's expected to interview at least another 6 current and former officials and agents in the coming weeks. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says her husband is home from the hospital after last week's attack. Authorities say Paul Pelosi suffered a skull fracture and injuries to his arms and hands when David DePape attacked Pelosi with a hammer in his home a week ago. DePape has pleaded not guilty to state charges and has not yet entered a plea on a federal count. Authorities say DePape was in the U.S. illegally and now faces deportation. To business headlines, October job growth could be the slowest in 2 years. The economy is expected to have added a solid 205,000 jobs in October as unemployment remained a low 3.5%. That's according to Dow Jones. The job gains would be the smallest since December of 2020 when there was a contraction. Both first-time and repeat U.S. homebuyers are now the oldest on record, and the proportion of purchases by Black, Asian, and Pacific Island Americans is the lowest since 1997. A typical first-time buyer was 36 this year, 3 years older than in 2021. Data from the National Association of Realtors released Thursday showed for repeat purchasers, it rose to 59. Citing inflation, higher fuel prices, and supply chain challenges, and in an effort to cut down on food waste, Carnival Cruise Line is raising prices on food and drinks. Steaks are going up in price, and free ice cream hours will be shorter. It also said the higher prices are due to changing laws and how farm animals and crops are raised and handled. Starbucks says revenue topped analysts' estimates fueled by U.S. customers spending more on iced coffee drinks and pumpkin spice lattes. The Seattle-based coffee company also said U.S. traffic improved in the quarter and has nearly bounced back to 2019 levels. Cold beverages accounted for more than 3/4 of beverage sales at U.S. company-owned cafes. Starbucks said customers are more likely to add pricey syrups, cold foam, and dairy substitutes to cold drinks, driving up their price. A new survey shows Americans are still into brick-and-mortar Black Friday shopping. The survey, commissioned by user testing and conducted by OnePoll, found shopping in actual stores is in vogue again. Gen Z liked Black Friday in-store shopping more than millennials. 63% consider in-store Black Friday shopping a tradition. All right, to some weekend happenings. The Monumental Marathon kicks off tomorrow in Indianapolis. It's going to affect downtown traffic all the way up to Broad Ripple. Closures are scheduled at various times between 8 in the morning until 3 p.m. Parking downtown will be restricted. The race also impacts Indigo's Red Line bus service. You will not be able to get on or off at stations at Vermont, the State House, New Jersey, 22nd Street, Fall Creek Ivy Tech, and 18th and Meridian. Service will also be limited at 18th and Capitol. If you want to ride the whole length of the route, you'll have to go out and walk a block to Park Avenue. We have a color-coded map for you and all of the closure details on wishtv.com right now. All right, the Colts are gearing up for New England. It's the first time since 2000 that players will not face Tom Brady inside Gillette Stadium. The Colts haven't won there since their Super Bowl winning season of 2006. Quarterback Sam Ehlinger was only 8 years old then. Kickoff for Sunday's game is set for 1 o'clock. And tonight, the Pacers host Miami, but fans won't get to see one of their former favorites. Victor Oladipo is nursing a knee injury. The Pacers have 4 home games after a 5-game road trip. They went 2-3, including wins over the Nets and Wizards. Oladipo still has not played in Indianapolis since his awkward exit in a trade 2 years ago. Tonight's game tips off at 7. Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving is suspended without pay. The team announced the suspension yesterday. It comes after Irving posted a link to an anti-Semitic film on his Twitter last week. During a meeting with media yesterday, reporters asked if he was sorry. He did not explicitly apologize, so the team said he was unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. Irving did post an apology to his Instagram overnight, saying in part, "To all Jewish families and communities that are hurt and affected from my post, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain." According to the Nets, his suspension is set to last for at least 5 games. High school marching bands play for a state title this weekend. Lucas Oil Stadium hosts the Indiana State School Music Association Finals. More than 40 bands will be there. You can go. Tickets are $22 for adults, $18 for students. Doors open at 9 in the morning. First performance starts at 9:25. And finally, Wish TV is once again teaming up with the Moselle Sanders Foundation to feed 15,000 families. This is the 51st year for the Thanksgiving Day dinners. You can help by texting Moselle to 313131 to donate. Every $20 feeds a family of 4. We've got a donation page up on wishtv.com right now. That's also where you can find info on how to volunteer. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV. Have a good weekend, everybody.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.